Previous when we were discussing about the electric charges or the electricity or the electric current. That is, in the first two chapters, we were discussing about the charges at rest. That is in the chapter of electric charges and fields. And electrostatic potential, we are discussing about the charges at rest. And in the third chapter, that is in current electricity, we are moving or we are discussing about the charges which is in motion. That is, the moving charges is producing the current that we are call it as electricity. So that's all about electricity. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about magnetism. So when I am introducing this term magnetism, what all things are came to your mind? Have you heard about this term magnet or magnetism before? Have you heard about this term magnet? Say yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So when I am saying this word magnet, what all things came to your mind? Yes. All of you may please switch on your video and you can discuss your own ideas. No problem. What all things are came to your mind when we are introducing this term magnet? We are going to discuss only the basic things, the introductory part. So you don't need to think about the higher level. You just share the things that what you are discussed or studied in your lower classes. What all things you have heard about magnet?
Field lines.
Ah, yes. Who says that?
Punya.
Ah, yes, Punya. Say it louder.
Field lines.
Yes, magnetic field lines. Okay, then. Very good. What about others?
North Pole will always repel.
Ah, yes, very good.
Poles.
Every magnet is possess two poles. One is a north pole and other is a south pole. And the like poles of the magnets are attract each other and unlike poles of magnet are repels each other. And in the very smaller classes we will study about, whenever we are think about magnet, even though it is a kid or an adult, the first and foremost property that is came in our mind, it has an attractive or repulsive property. So magnet is a substance that can attract iron-like object. Does it is attract all the metals? Magnet is attract all the metals? Does the magnet attract all the metals? Yes or no? Why you are sitting like this? You don't need to worry about your exam and all. Feel cool and relaxed, and you can say your opinions. Does the magnet attract all the metals?
No.
Most
No.
of
It is not attract the gold or silver like metals. It is only attract the iron like objects like iron, nickel, cobalt, and all. So that is one what is known as magnet. And what are the characteristics of magnet? Magnet possesses two poles. One is a north pole and other is a south pole. The like poles are repels each other. Unlike poles are attract each other. And what about the other properties of magnet? Have you heard about magnetic compass? What is the use of magnetic compass? Or where we are using this magnetic compass? You don't need to take the lecture notes and all. This is very introductory, the basic concepts based of this chapter. Okay, you just relaxed and just listen and you can share your opinions. What is the use of magnetic compass?
Navigation.
Yes, magnetic compass is used in navigation. That is used for identify the direction. It is mainly used by the sailors when they are used to travel in ships. So which indicates the directional property of the magnet. So the magnet is also used to find out the direction. This is another property or the characteristics of the magnet. And basically the magnets are classified into two. One is natural magnet and other is artificial magnet. What do you mean by natural magnet? Yes. What do you mean by natural magnet? All these things we are studied in the 6th grade onwards. That's why I'm just recall or revising the same basic information. Okay. What do you mean by natural magnet? I think it's better to call your names. Steffi, what do you mean by natural magnet?
Found in the nature.
Yes, it is found in nature. The magnets which are occurring naturally in the nature is known as natural magnet. An example for a natural magnet is lodestone. Okay. And then what do you mean by artificial magnet then? Nia, can you say what do you mean by artificial magnet? Nandana?
They're man-made.
Yes, it is man-made magnets is known as artificial magnets. And based on the shape of the magnets, we can name them as bar magnet. If it is in the shape of a circle, what is that artificial magnet known as? Circular magnet. If it in the shape of a ring, what is the name of the magnet? Yes. Ring magnet. Then another type, U-shaped magnet. The U-shaped magnet is also known as horseshoe magnet. All these are example for the artificial magnet. So basically the magnets are classified into two. One is natural magnet and other is the artificial magnet. Natural magnets are magnets which is naturally occurring in this nature. Example is lodestone. But for laboratory purposes, we are not using this natural magnet. Why? Do you know the reason? Why we are not prefer this natural magnets for our laboratory purposes? In physics lab, we can only find the artificial magnets like bar magnet or horseshoe magnet. Why we are not preferring this natural magnet? Do you know the reason? Because natural magnet have very weak attractive property. Okay, so the magnetism that is felt by the natural magnets are very weak. That is why we are not prefer this natural magnet for our laboratory purposes. Okay, so this all about the magnet, and we are already discussed about the magnetic compass. Inside the magnetic compass, you can see a magnetic needle. Magnetic needle is actually a form of artificial magnet. And what is the property of this magnetic compass or magnetic needle? When it is kept rest, in which direction it is point out? What is the direction that is pointed out by the magnetic compass when it is kept stationary?
North, south.
Yes, it is always came to rest in north-south direction. If you are kept the magnet, if you are kept the magnetic compass stationary, it is always pointing towards the north-south direction. The same thing you can find out if you are suspending a bar magnet. If you are suspending a bar magnet in a thread, if it is allowed to rest, it is always pointed towards the north-south direction. So the same property we can find in the case of magnetic compass. That is why we are using this magnetic compass to find out the direction during the navigations. And whenever we brought another strong magnet nearer to this magnetic compass, what happens to this magnetic compass? It shows a deflection because of the property of the like pulses are repulse each other and unlike poles are attract each other. That's why if you are kept a magnetic compass rest, it is always pointing towards the north-south direction. So if you are brought another strong magnet like a bar magnet or any horseshoe magnet nearer this magnetic compass, it shows a deflection. So this is the property or the working of the magnetic compass. Okay, so now we can enter into this lesson. So that's all about the properties, basic ideas of the magnet that we have grasped from our smaller classes. So in this chapter, we are going to discuss what is the physics behind this magnetism, okay, or why we need to study this magnetism, what is the importance of magnetism in our daily life. So in the next two chapters, we are detailedly explained about the magnetism. So let us start. So when I am starting about this magnetism, once again, I am introducing this term electricity here because this electricity and magnets are interrelated. There is a relationship between electricity and magnetism. So today we are going to discuss our next chapter, that is moving charges and magnetism. So this is the title of chapter, moving charges and magnetism. Chapter 4, moving charges and magnetism. All of you write the heading. This is our chapter 4, moving charges and magnetism. So we are already says that there is a relationship is exists between our electricity and magnetism. This relation between electricity and magnetism was first introduced by a Danish physics and chemist, Hans Christian Ørsted. Do you heard about this term? Do you heard about this person, Hans Christian Ørsted? I hope that you are studying about this person in which grade, in which standard? Yes, it is in 10th. You have to study about the Hans Christian Ørsted, the Ørsted experiment. So the relation between electricity and magnetism was first observed by Hans Christian Ørsted. He is accidentally discovering the relation between this electricity and magnetism while doing some kind of lecture or experiment in his lab. What he is do that he is considering an electric circuit. I will show the experiment that was conducted by the Hans Christian Ørsted. So Hans Christian Ørsted is accidentally discovered the electric current would cause a compass needle go haywire. So the moving charges create a magnetic field was first discovered by Hans Christian Ørsted, or Hans Christian Ørsted is discovered the relation between electric current and magnetism, or it is the
Ma'am,
yes.
should we write this down?
You only need to write about Hans Christian Ørsted, and he discovered that moving charges create magnetic field. So the relation between electricity and magnetism were discovered by Hans Christian Ørsted. Okay. Now we can explain the experiment that was conducted by Hans Christian Ørsted. Basically, what he did was he considered an electric circuit. Now you are only concentrate about this electric circuit. So basically, he is considering an electric circuit here. And does it is conduct electricity in this state? Just observe here. Does it is conduct electricity here? Why? Why it is not conduct electricity?
No.
Yes, because it is open. It is not closed. So first of all, he considering an electric circuit that is connecting the two wires across a cell. So now he close it by connecting the wires to the positive and negative terminal. So before connecting his, here he placed a magnetic compass near this circuit. So here there is no current is passing through the circuit, and accidentally he placed a compass needle near the circuit. And what about the deflection of the compass needle, or how it is came to rest? In the case of magnetic compass, it is came to rest in north-south direction. Then what he did was he is connecting the wire to the positive terminal of the cell. Then what happens? The current is started to flow through the circuit. Okay. Now the circuit is closed and the current is started to flow through the circuit from positive terminal to negative terminal. Then what he observed that this magnetic compass shows a deflection. It is deflected from north to south to another direction. Okay, it is deflected. Its point is deflected away from the north to south direction. So again, he is surprised and he observed that does any other magnetic material is present near this magnetic compass, and he found that nothing is present near this magnetic compass, only the magnetic compass is placed near the circuit. Then he is surprised how this magnetic compass shows a deflection, because the magnetic compass is deflected if and only if there is another strong magnet is brought nearer to it. But here there is no other magnet is present near the magnetic compass, even though the magnetic compass is started to deflect. So again, what he do? He disconnect this wire from the positive terminal. So there is no current is passing through the circuit. Again, he observed that the magnetic compass is came to rest in north-south direction. And he repeat this activity. Again, he connected this wire. Again, the magnetic compass is shows a deflection. So from this experiment, he concluded that this current carrying circuit, the current carrying circuit is behaves like a magnet. The current carrying circuit is behaves like a magnet. This is the conclusion he drawn from his experiment. A current carrying circuit have a capacity to behave like a magnet, or it is develops a magnetic field. Whenever the current is passing through the conductor is develops a magnetic field. So through this activity, Hans Christian Oersted established a relation between electricity and magnetism. That is, whenever the electric current is passing through a conductor, it behaves like a magnet. And that is what is known as magnetic effect of electric current. And that is paved the way for the very famous electromagnetism. So actually the Hans Christian Oersted put forward the idea of electromagnetism. Electromagnetism is the relation between electric current and that of the magnet. So the concept of electromagnetism was introduced by Hans Christian Oersted through his experiment. He observed that whenever the current is passing through a current carrying conductor, the magnetic compass is deflects. So the magnetic compass is deflects if and only if only due to the presence of the current that is passing through this current carrying conductor. So thereby he established a relation between electricity and that of the magnetism, which is paved the way for the introduction of electromagnetism. Is it clear?
Ma'am, can you tell that statement again?
Which one?
The last one.
Okay. The current carrying conductor develops a magnetic field. The current carrying conductor develops a magnetic field, or it behaves like a magnet, A current carrying conductor develops a magnetic field, or it behaves like a magnet, which indicates the relation between electricity and magnetic field, which indicates the relation between electricity and magnetism. And that is what is known as magnetic effect of electric current. That is known as magnetic effect of electric current.
Ma'am, can you tell it again?
Okay. The current carrying conductor develops a magnetic field, or it behaves like a magnet. It is known as magnetic effect of electric current. So once again, from this figure, I have a question. Here the charges are stored inside the cell. Okay, the charges are stored here inside the cell. Does this charge is producing any magnetic field? Here in this cell, this is our electric cell. And inside this electric cell, the charges are stored because the cell have a capacity to store the charges. So does it is produce the magnetic field? The stored charges are produce the magnetic field?
No, ma'am.
No. So which type of charges are producing the magnetic field?
Moving charges.
Yes, very good. The moving charges are only produces the magnetic field. That is, whenever the circuit is closed, the charges are started to flow. So this is another conclusion that we can draw from this experiment. Moving charges produce magnetic field. The charges at rest cannot produce magnetic field. The charges at rest produce electric field. That is what we are discussing in our first two chapters. Okay. Charges at rest producing the electric field. Charges at rest produce electric field. Again, charges in motion or the moving charges produce, here it produce both electric field and magnetic field. It produce electric field. The moving charges are produce both electric field and magnetic field. Now again, the current carrying conductors produce which field? From this we can conclude that the current carrying conductors produce magnetic field. So the magnetic field is produced by the moving charges, or the current carrying conductors is producing the magnetic field. So actually this relation is made by or established by the Hans Christian Ørsted. That is what is known as magnetic effect of electric current. Okay. So charges at rest produce electric field, charges in motion produce electric field and magnetic field, and the current carrying conductors are produces the magnetic field. This is what is the conclusion that he made from his experiment. So in this lesson, here we are introducing another term, that is magnetic field. In the first two chapters, we are introducing electric field. So before discussing about the magnetic field, I want to recall the points that we were discussing about electric field. Have you remember the term electric field? I hope now all of you are remembering about the electric field because you are preparing for your periodic test, right? Can you say what do you mean by electric field? Just recall electric field. What do you mean by electric field? Naureen?
It is a region of space around a charge where we experience the effects of charge.
That's very good. It is the region or the space around the charge where it is experiences the effects of charge is known as electric field. So once again, I am introducing the concept of cricket field. The field where we are used to play the cricket is known as cricket field. Because we are not used to play the cricket in the middle of the road or in the junction or right, it has appropriate place where only we are used to play the cricket. So just like that, you can just compare it with that of the magnetic field. Magnetic field is the region or the space around the magnet where you influences or felt the magnetism. It is the region or the space around the magnet where you influences the magnetism is known as magnetic field. So suppose you are just imagine that if I hold a magnet here, if it is a magnet, I hold a magnet here and I brought an iron nail nearer to this bar magnet. What happens? Does it is attracts or repels? I hold a magnet in my hand and I brought an iron nail nearer to it. What happens?
Attract.
Yes, it gets attract. Now in the second situation, I hold the magnet here, but I place the iron nail in the corner of this room. Does it is attract? No. Why? Why it is not attract? Because in the second situation, iron nail is out of the limit or it is out of the magnetic field. So the things are get attract or it is influences the magnetic effect if and only if they are present inside the magnetic field. So the magnetic field, we mean that it is the region or the space around the magnet where you influences the magnetism or the magnetism is felt. That is what is known as magnetic field. And did you remember how we are representing the electric field? Using which letter we are representing the electric field? Yes? Say it louder. Capital letter E. Similarly, the magnetic field is represented by the letter B. So now we can write the definition for the magnetic field.
Ma'am, B or P?
PB, capital letter B. So the magnetic field is the space or the region around a magnet in which there is a magnetic force is experienced or you influences the magnetism. That is what is known as magnetic field. This is the definition of magnetic field. So the magnetic field is the space or the region around the magnet in which there is a magnetic force is experienced. And it represented by capital letter B. The electric field is represented by E. Similarly, the magnetic field is represented by B. So it is the region or the space around a magnet in which there is a magnetic force is experienced. Is it over? The magnetic field is the space or the region around a magnet in which there is a magnetic force is experienced. It is represented by the letter B. So we can make a comparison between electric field and a magnetic field. How this electric field are produced? How the electric field is produced? Electric field is produced by the charges at rest or motion.
Rest.
Yes, it is produced by charges at rest. What about in the case of magnetic field? Magnetic field is produced by charges in motion. The electric field is represented by capital letter E, but in the case of magnetic field, it is represented by capital letter B. Next, can you say what is the force experienced on the electric field? The force experienced on the charge due to electric field. The force experienced on a charge due to electric field is given by F is equal to QE. F is equal to QE. The force experienced on a charge by the electric field is given by F is equal to QE. Or from this equation, you can make a relation that the electric field E is equal to F by Q. Similarly, the force experienced on a moving charge by the magnetic field is given by, this is a new equation that you are going to study now. The force experienced on a moving charge by the magnetic field is given by F is equal to Q into V cross B. F is equal to Q into V cross B. So what is Q represents? Q. What is Q represents?
Charge.
Charge. Very good. And what is V? V is representing the velocity because the magnetic field is produced by the moving charges. And the charge which are in motion possess a velocity. That velocity is represented by V, and this B is the magnetic field. So the force acting on a charge by the magnetic field is represented or given by F is equal to Q into V cross B, where Q is the charge, V is the velocity possessed by the charged particle, that is moving charged particle, and B is the magnetic field. And from this equation, you can form an equation for magnetic field. B is equal to F by QV. Here, in the case of electric field, this term V is absent because the electric field is produced by charges at rest. If the charges at rest, they are not possess any kind of velocity. That is why it is remain 0. In the case of electric field, there is no velocity. But in the case of magnetic field, the magnetic field is produced by the charges in motion. So that moving charges is possess a velocity. That is why here the velocity term is present in this case. P is equal to F by QV. So this is the basic difference between that of the electric field and magnetic field. Okay. Punya, can you say the definition for magnetic field? What do you mean by magnetic field?
The region of space around a magnet where the magnetic effect of force is experienced.
Yes, it is the region or the space around the magnet where it influences the magnetism is known as magnetic field. And it is represented by the letter B. And here we know that B is equal to F divided by QV, where F is the force, Q is the charge, and V is the velocity that is possessed by the charged particle which is in motion. So dimensionally, what is the unit of magnetic field? Unit of magnetic field. What is the unit of force? What is the unit of force?
Newton.
Newton. And what is the unit of charge? Coulomb. And what is the unit of velocity? Meter per second. Okay, so when we are arranging this equation, we get the unit of magnetic field dimensionally Newton second per Coulomb meter. So this is the dimensional unit of magnetic field. So from the equation, we can derive the equation for magnetic field. Newton second per Coulomb meter. Newton second per Coulomb meter is the unit of magnetic field. This is the dimensional unit of magnetic field. But the SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla. The SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla. It is represented by the letter T. This is the SI unit. But this is a large unit. So the smaller unit of magnetic field is Gauss. Gauss is the smaller unit of the magnetic field, and 1 Gauss is equal to 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. Gauss is the smaller unit of magnetic field. Okay. So here we are discussing the unit of magnetic field. We're discussing 3 units of magnetic field. One is the dimensional unit. Once again, I recollect all the units of the magnetic field here. The first unit is Newton second per Coulomb meter. This is the dimensional unit. That is the unit that we are obtained from the equation. And again, the SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla. This is the SI unit. And the smaller unit of the magnetic field is Gauss. All these are the units of magnetic field, but you must concentrate on the SI unit of the magnetic field. Is it clear? And in addition with this, you are also studied 1 Gauss. 1 Gauss is equal to, sometimes it is needed for the numericals, 1 Gauss is equal to 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. It is also important. Okay. And one more thing we are discussing about the magnetic field is the force experienced on a magnetic field is given by F is equal to Q into V cross B. Here you don't need to study the derivation of this equation. You only study the equation of the force that is exerted by the magnetic field on a moving charge. Only need to by heart this equation. F is equal to Q into V cross B. You don't need to study the derivation of this equation. So in the case of electric field, we are deriving the equation and we are we are formulating the equation F is equal to QE. But in the case of magnetic field, you are just study the equation. This is the force exerted by the magnetic field on a moving charge. It is given by F is equal to Q into V cross B, where Q is the charge, V is the velocity, and B is the magnetic field. Okay. And the next point that we are going to discuss is here. The magnetic field obeys superposition principle. It obeys superposition principle. This is the another characteristics of the magnetic field. The magnetic field obeys superposition principle. Because you just imagine if you have a large number of charges such as Q1, Q2, Q3, etc. up to Qn, each moving charges is produces their own magnetic field. That is, the charge Q1 is moving charge Q1 produces a magnetic field of B1. Similarly, the moving charge Q2 produces a magnetic field of B2. Similarly, Q3 produces a magnetic field of B3. Up to Qn is produces Bn. Then the net magnetic field is the magnetic field produced due to the individual charges. That is, B net is equal to B1 plus B2 plus B3 plus etc. up to Bn. So from this we can say that the magnetic field is obeys superposition principle, just like that of the electric field. In the case of electric field, we are also proved that the electric field is obeys the superposition principle. Here you don't need to prove this. The magnetic field obeys the superposition principle. You just study that the magnetic field is also obeys the superposition principle, just like that of the electric field. Because if Q1, Q2, Q3, etc. are the moving charges, they produces their own magnetic field. And the net magnetic field is the sum of the magnetic field produced by each individual charges. Is it clear? Okay. All right. And one more point about this magnetic field. Magnetic field is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity. Why we are saying it is a vector quantity?
Like direction of current.
Because it has both magnitude and direction. Yes, it is because it has both magnitude and direction. That is why we call it as vector quantity. Magnitude means the unit. We know that the magnetic field possesses a unit of Tesla. And what is the direction of the magnetic field? Do you know the direction of magnetic field? We are already studied in the 10th standard. I will show you an image here, the representation of the magnetic field, then it is more clear. If you are imagining a bar magnet, this is the north pole and south pole, and the direction of the magnetic field is from north to south outside the magnet and south to north inside the magnet. So this is the direction of magnetic field. And the direction of the magnetic field is given by the magnetic field lines. So magnetic field lines are the imaginary lines which gives the direction of magnetic field. Outside the magnet, its direction is from north to south. Here you can see the arrow mark. Inside the magnet, its direction is from south to north. We discuss about this magnetic field lines in our next chapter, so you don't need to be bothered about it. You just studied that magnetic field is a vector quantity because it possesses both magnitude and direction. And in the case of a magnet, the direction is from north to south outside the magnet and south to north inside the magnet. We are discussing about the magnetic field lines in our next chapter. Okay. I hope all these topics are clear, right? If you have any doubt, you can ask now. Here, this equation is representing the force due to the magnetic field. Force experienced on a moving charge by the magnetic field. F is equal to Q into V cross B. Since it is a cross product, we can write F is equal to QVB sine theta. F is equal to Q into V cross B. We can write F is equal to QVB sine theta since it is a cross product. Is it clear? Yes. The SI unit of the magnetic field is Tesla. It is named after the Nikola Tesla. He is introducing this term Tesla, or he find the unit of magnetic field. So that is why it is Tesla. It is named after a scientist named Nikola Tesla. Okay. So here we are discussing about the magnetic field. Magnetic field is a region or the space around the magnet where you influences the magnetic effect or the magnetic force of attraction or repulsion. That is what is known as magnetic field. It is represented by the letter capital B. It is a vector quantity because it possesses both magnitude and direction. And the unit of magnetic field is Tesla. And the smaller, Tesla is a larger unit. So smaller, it is a SI unit of magnetic field. The smaller unit of magnetic field is Gauss. And 1 Gauss is equal to 10 raised to -4 Tesla. And dimensionally, the unit of magnetic field is Newton second per Coulomb meter. And it also obeys the superposition principle. So these are the different characteristics of the magnetic field. I hope it is clear, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, students, and bye. Have a nice day.